It begins not with darkness, but with light, ancient, patient light, stretching across the velvet sea of space. Somewhere in the deep, a sun is breathing. Its light touches planets that dance in silence, warming oceans, painting skies, and stirring life into being. You've seen it, that golden shimmer on your skin. The same light that once burned in the heart of hydrogen stones now rests gently on the curve of your head. Every sunrise you've ever watched is a quiet memory of a cosmic furnace burning millions of kilometers away, a living pulse of fusion and flame. And yet, even stars grow old. The long life of light. Stars are not eternal. They live, they age, they transform. But before they fade, they spend billions of years doing something miraculous, turning simplicity into complexity. Hydrogen, the universe's firstborn element, the child of the Big Bang, is pressed, crushed, and fused in a dance so hot even atoms forget their boundaries. Two become one. Hydrogen becomes helium, and in that union, energy is born. Every second, a sun releases more power than humanity has ever known. And it does this quietly, without applause. You can imagine the surface, a rolling ocean of plasma, waves the size of continents, rising and falling in golden fire. But beneath the chaos, inside the heart of the star, is a delicate balance, a tug of war between gravity and light. Gravity wants to pull everything inward, to collapse, to end. Light pushes back, a radiant resistance holding gravity at bay. And for billions of years, that balance holds. It's the reason your world exists. It's the reason your atoms formed at all. Because as long as the star can fuse hydrogen, it keeps its heart open. It keeps giving. It keeps shining. And if you drift close, close enough to feel the warmth, but far enough to stay whole, you'd sense something almost alive. A rhythm, a heartbeat made of thermonuclear fire. It hums through the vacuum, through the quiet fabric of space-time, through you. Every cell in your body is touched by it. Every breath is borrowed from its generosity. When ancient astronomers looked up, they saw gods in the sky. They weren't wrong. They were just naming what they felt. The quiet reverence of being warmed by something older than memory, older than language. And yet, even gods must one day rest. In the heart of every star, fuel runs low. Hydrogen, once abundant, grows scarce. Fusion slows, pressure drops, gravity begins to win. This is how endings begin. Not with an explosion, but with a whisper, a tiny imbalance, a small change in the rhythm of the heart. The star doesn't know it yet, but the story is already turning. There are many ways for a star to die. Some fade quietly, like candles. Others die in thunder, their final breaths echoing across galaxies. But all of them share one truth: they do not die for nothing. When a sun fades, it gives something back. Its atoms scatter, its dust drifts, its remnants build new stars, new worlds, new lives. Even death out there is creative. So tonight, let's drift closer into the twilight of the stars. Let's watch them slow their breathing. Let's listen to the songs they leave behind. Because the universe doesn't end with silence, it ends with transformation. And the dying suns, they're not gone, they are becoming. In the next chapter, we'll watch that transformation begin. The moment when a star realizes its long, brilliant youth is over, and something new, something profound is about to be born from its ending. Chapter 2: When Stars Begin to Fade. There's a moment in every life, even a star's life, when the energy that once seemed endless starts to waver. The fusion fires dim, just slightly at first, a faint slowing, like the heartbeat of a dream fading on waking. Hydrogen, the star's simplest joy, is nearly gone. And in that absence, gravity feels its charms. It presses inward, pulling the sun tighter, hotter, denser. Deep in the core, the temperatures rise to unimaginable extremes, tens of millions of degrees, and in that crucible, something extraordinary happens. Helium, once a quiet byproduct, begins to fuse. Three atoms of helium collide and merge, becoming carbon. And just like that, the fire is reborn. The star expands, not gently, but like a sudden sigh of relief. Its outer layers swell, reaching outward across space, engulfing everything near. If our sun were to do this one day, Mercury and Venus would vanish into flame, and Earth's skies would blush red, the horizons followed by an enormous glowing giant. The air would shimmer, the oceans would boil, the continents would glow like embers, and from far away, the star would look breathtaking, a colossal red lantern suspended in the dark. This is the red giant phase, a brief, magnificent bloom before the long winter. It's the cosmic's way of saying beauty doesn't fade quietly, it burns brightest before it transforms. If you could drift inside that swollen sun, you'd see chaos sculpted into rhythm, convective currents, great rivers of plasma rise and fall through its vast body, carrying light from the heart to the edge. Each wave takes thousands of years to travel. Each photon spends millennia bouncing through that golden labyrinth before escaping into space. Perhaps one day, to reach the eye of a creature like you. Light is patient, so are endings. As the helium burns, new elements begin to form: carbon, oxygen, neon. The periodic table itself is being written in this dying light. Every star is a blacksmith, every explosion a forge, and though it's dying, the star is still creating. It is, in its final years, more generous than ever. But not all stars go gently. Some, the massive ones, 10, 20, 100 times the size of our sun, carry too much weight to end quietly. Their cores grow heavy. Iron begins to form, and iron is different. You can't draw power from fusing it. It's the end of the line for stellar fire. The star tries. It burns hotter, faster, desperate. But the universe has laws even suns must obey. When fusion stops, gravity wins. And in that instant, the balance that held for millions of years collapses. It happens faster than you can imagine. The core implodes. Outer layers crash inward. Temperatures surge beyond comprehension. Atoms shatter. Nuclei fuse into heavier elements: gold, silver, uranium. The precious dust that one day will seed planets, oceans, and veins. And then the star explodes. A supernova. Imagine it. A single star releasing more energy in a few seconds than our sun will in its entire lifetime. For a moment, its brilliance outshines an entire galaxy. It becomes the brightest object in the universe. And then, just as suddenly, the light begins to fade. The outer layers scatter into the dark. Waves of dust, color, and debris, moving at millions of kilometers per hour. What remains is silence and something small, dense, and new. A relic of unimaginable gravity, the skeleton of the star's heart. A neutron star, perhaps, or a black hole. The transformation is complete. Death has become creation. But before we go deeper into what remains, pause here. Because this is the moment where the universe teaches its oldest lesson, that endings are not failures, they are openings. When a star dies, its light continues to travel across millions of years, across emptiness, across time itself, until it reaches you. The light of long dead stars is the reason your night sky still glows. Every twinkle above you is not a living sun, it's a memory. And memories, when they burn bright enough, never truly die. In the next chapter, we'll step closer to the heart of the explosion to see what truly happens in that instant of collapse. the moment when light and gravity wrestle for the last time, and something entirely new is born. The heavy elements that makes worlds possible. The universe is not destroying itself, it's sculpting the future. Chapter 3: The Dance of Collapse. It begins not with sound, not with light, but with a feeling. The faintest tremor in the heart of a dying sun. Deep inside, the fusion that once sang with steady rhythm has gone silent. The core, once a furnace of violence, is now a well of hunger. Gravity has waited patiently for millions, even billions of years. Now it claims what was always its own. At first, the collapse seems gentle, a slow inward drift. But then, as the pressure mounts, the entire core gives way. In a fraction of a second, matter rushes inward at a quarter the speed of light. The star's center compresses from a sphere the size of the sun to one barely wider than a city. Imagine it, the mass of an entire star, a million Earths, folding into something smaller than Manhattan. Atoms are crushed, electrons are forced into protons, neutrons are born. The core becomes a neutron star, a sphere of almost pure neutrons, so dense that a teaspoon of it would weigh as much as a mountain. But this collapse doesn't go quietly. The outer layers, still falling inward, slam into the newborn core and rebound, sending shock waves rippling outward with the power of creation itself. This is the moment, the instant the universe breathes out. A wave of unimaginable force tears through the star, flinging its outer skin into space. Light erupts, brighter than entire galaxies. Neutrinos, those ghostly particles, burst outward in unimaginable numbers, escaping before even light can follow. And for a few fleeting seconds, the universe glows with the birth cry of a new element. Inside that explosion, something profound is happening. Every heavy atom that will ever exist is being forged right now. Gold, silver, copper, iron, the jewels of the cosmos are born in this balance. Each collision between particles creates something heavier, something richer, something more intricate. The universe, in this moment, is writing its own story in light. And the ink it uses is the fire of the dying suns. Look closer if your eyes could bear it. You'd see waves of color rippling through the expanding cloud. Scarlet from hydrogen, blue from oxygen, green from sulfur. Each hue is an element's final signature, a farewell written in light. The supernova's shockwave pushes outward, sweeping gas and dust before it carving cavities in the interstellar medium. These ripples will travel for thousands of years, passing through clouds of hydrogen, compressing them, and one day sparking new stars into being. From death comes birth. If you could stand somewhere safe, a few light years away, you would see the sky come alive. A single star outshining its entire galaxy. For days, weeks, even months, it would blaze in the dark, its light crossing the universe. To reach the eyes of curious begins far away. Maybe even yours. Some of the light that touches Earth tonight was born from supernovae like this. Explosions that happened before humans existed, before Earth itself had cooled. The light that traveled across space, across time, through dust and gravity and silence to whisper a single message. Nothing truly dies. When astronomers first detected the remains of such explosions, they gave them names. Crab Nebula, Cassiopeia A, SN 1987A. But those are just catalog numbers for miracles. Each one is a ghost, still glowing centuries after the star itself vanished. Inside those clouds, telescopes have found rings of color expanding, filaments twisting like veins of cosmic lighting. The beauty is staggering, and the silence that follows, even more so. Because after the light fades, what remains is mystery. At the center of that expanding cloud, there's a remnant. A small spinning ember of collapsed matter. A neutron star. Rotating dozens, even hundreds of times per second. Its magnetic fields crackle with energy. Its beams of radiation sweep the cosmos like a cosmic lighthouse. We call them pulsars, celestial clocks marking time, long after the stars have perished. They keep spinning, sending out pulses of light for millions of years. And when the spinning finally slows, when even those echoes fade, gravity takes one last step inward. The neutron star collapses again, deeper, denser, darker. A black hole is formed. There, light itself cannot escape, not because it is gone, but because space has bent around it. The core of the dying star has become a tear in reality, a point where time and gravity meet and do not let go. What was once light, once heat, once fusion, is now gravity made flesh. A black hole, the memory of a star, condensed into silence. But even here in the dark, the story isn't over. Around that black hole, the remnants of the explosion swirl. A glowing disk of plasma, spiraling inward, heating as it falls. And as it does, it releases light once more, Not the gentle warmth of sunlight, but a fierce, radiant screen that can outshine galaxies. It's almost poetic. The star's final act is still to shine. Even as it disappears, it refuses to be forgotten. The universe is full of these ghosts, neutron stars spinning in rhythm, black holes hiding in plain sight, nebulae drifting like colorful smoke. All of them, the quiet aftermath of endings that were never truly endings. The cosmos is not a graveyard, it's a garden where every death feeds new life and every collapse makes space for creation. In the next chapter, we'll drift among the ashes into the clouds of dust left behind, where those elements, carbon, oxygen, gold, begin their next story. We'll watch as they gather, spin, and one day ignite again as new suns are born from the ashes of the old. Because the sacred life of a dying sun isn't about how it ends, it's about how it begins again. Chapter 4: The Heart of Iron and Fire. If you could hold a piece of a dying star in your hand, you couldn't. It would weigh billions of tons. It would burn through you faster than thought. And yet, the same fire already lives inside you. Every atom in your body, heavier than hydrogen, every trace of carbon in your skin, every drop of iron in your blood, every glint of calcium in your bones, was once born inside a star that died. You are, quite literally, the dust of their last breath. It's strange, isn't it? We look at the night sky and call it empty. But what you're seeing is the quiet aftermath of creation. In every direction, light from ancient suns drifts past you, echoes of their final moments, carrying the elements that would one day coalesce into worlds, water, and wonder. Even the gold in your jewelry, the silver in your phone, the oxygen in your lungs, were all forged in a supernova's fire. What you breathe now was once part of a star's final exhale. When a star dies, its ashes don't simply vanish. They scatter across light years, across ages. Tiny grains of dust drift into the dark, floating through the galaxy for eons. They gather in cold clouds of gas, vast nebulae, billowing and shimmering in starlight. Within those clouds, gravity whispers again. Slowly, inevitably, it pulls matter together. Atoms embrace, dust spins, light stirs once more. And so, from the remains of one star, another begins to take shape. The universe is not wasteful, it's cyclical. It reuses everything. Even light is recycled, bent, absorbed, re-emitted, passing its energy from one generation of stars to the next. If you could float inside one of those clouds, say the Orion Nebula, You'd see it happening in real time. Clouds of hydrogen glowing pink, filaments of dust tracing newborn stars, jets of gas shooting out from embryonic stars, like the breath of giants being born. It's not silent, though you wouldn't hear it. The radio waves hum like lullabies. The light shifts and shimmers like auroras. And in the heart of it all, tiny disks of matter begin to spin. Planets, moons, comets, the future homes of life. Each planet that forms is a mosaic of ancient suns, carbon from one star, iron from another, oxygen from yet another. Every world is a collaboration, a cosmic inheritance. And one of those worlds, just one, formed around an ordinary star in an ordinary corner of the Milky Way about 4.6 billion years ago. It was rocky, restless, young, and on its surface, in the space between fire and water, something miraculous happened. The atoms from countless dying suns learned to dream. We call it life, but really, it's the universe remembering itself. Think about it. The carbon in your body was made inside a red giant's final years. The iron in your blood came from the iron of a collapsing supernova. The calcium in your teeth was once part of a long dead star's bones. You carry the periodic table of the cosmos within you. You are the autobiography of the universe, written in stardust. When you lift your hand, you're moving matter that once burned in a sun's core and once drifted through interstellar space. And when you breathe out, your atoms begin their journey again, outward, into the air, into the future. Iron, the star's undoing and your making. It's poetic. For the star, iron means death. When it builds too much iron, its core can no longer produce energy. It collapses, it ends. But for life, iron means blood, oxygen transport, motion, awareness. The element that ends stars is the same one that lets you live. That's how intimately connected you are to the fate of suns. You breathe their death and turn it into life. So the next time you see sunlight spilling through trees or catching on the surface of water, remember that light has traveled billions of years to find its way to your skin. It's older than humanity, older than the earth, older than the oceans that shimmer beneath it. And every photon that touches you once belonged to a star that lived, that burned, and died so that you could exist. In ancient times, humans looked up and imagined that the stars were eternal, moving guardians of the night. But now we know the truth. They live, they change, they end, and they begin again. And maybe that's even more beautiful because it means that the universe isn't static, it's alive, it's evolving, it's learning to create, destroy, and create again. It means that somewhere out there, a dying sun is already making the atoms for a future world. Perhaps one day, those atoms will breathe and love and look up at their own sky, wondering who they came from. In the next chapter, we'll drift through the aftermath, the supernova remnants themselves, the nebulae that carry the colors of death and rebirth. We'll see how those clouds, still glowing after thousands of years, are the bridges between destruction and creation, silence and song, ending and eternity. Because in the universe, nothing is wasted, not even the ashes of a dying sun. Chapter 5, The Last Breath, Supernova. It happens in an instant, after billions of years of quiet burning. After all the balance, all the giving, all the light, the star exhales. Not gently, not slowly, but with the force of a billion bombs. The core collapses, the outer layers rebound, and in that fraction of second, a dying sun becomes a cosmic orchestra. Light, heat, soundless, thunder. Everything that once was, flung outward in a blinding burst of glory. If you could see it from afar, it would look like the birth of a new universe. A single point of brilliance, outshining everything around it. It would outshine galaxies. It would cast shadows across nebulae, light years away. And for a few moments, it would be the brightest object in existence. A dying star, burning so fiercely that it becomes briefly eternal. The light of that explosion travels across time and space, sometimes for thousands, sometimes for millions of years, until it reaches eyes like ours. When astronomers look through their telescopes, they are not watching the death of a star. They are watching an ancient memory unfold, a message sent before humankind even existed. Every time we capture a supernova's glow, we are witnessing the past as it happens again. The inside of that explosion is chaos, beautiful, ordered chaos. Shock waves ripple outward at unimaginable speed, tearing through the star's layers, forging heavier and heavier elements as they go. Nickel becomes iron, iron becomes gold, gold becomes the raw dust of creation. And in that single blinding instant, the universe manufactures everything it will ever need to build worlds. And then the light begins to fade. What remains is not silence, but aftermath. A nebula, a ghost made of color and memory. Over centuries, those shockwaves spread outward, slowing, cooling, painting space with rings of gas and dust. To us, through our telescopes, they look like smoke frozen in time, twisting filaments of blue and red and violet. Each strand a trail of atoms that once lived in the same sun. The Crab Nebula is one of those, the remains of a supernova that lit the skies of Earth in the year 1054. People saw it back then. Chinese astronomers recorded it as a guest star that appeared for weeks, visible even in daylight. They didn't know they are watching the end of a sun. Now, nearly 1,000 years later, that light still glows, remnants of color expanding through space. A slow motion bloom of cosmic petals. Even in death, the star continues to make more beauty. But the story doesn't end with the nebula. At its center, a remnant spins, a collapsed heart of neutrons or a hidden singularity. Sometimes it pulses with perfect rhythm, sending out radio waves like a beacon, a pulsar, the heartbeat of a ghost. Sometimes it swallows light completely, a black hole, a silence so deep it shapes the universe around it. Both are the children of the supernova, the final enduring symbols of a star's secret life. They are the proof that nothing, not even destruction, is wasted. Chapter 7: The Cosmic Rebirth, Dust, Planets, and You. After the explosion, after the silence, after the long night of drifting dust, something stirs. Particles of matter born in the hearts of dying suns begin to gather again. Slowly, gently, patiently. Over millions of years, gravity begins its quiet work. It draws the ashes of the dead together, whispering, "Come closer." And out of that cosmic dust, a new world begins to take shape. It starts small, just motes of carbon and ice, spinning in the dark. They collide, stick, fuse. Pebbles become stones. Stones become mountains. And slowly, under the pull of gravity's invisible hand, a sphere forms, a planet. Somewhere in a new star's orbit, a rocky world begins to glow with molten heat. Volcanoes roar, comets bring water, the sky fills with clouds, and rain begins to fall for the first time. Steam rises from boiling seas, thunder cracks over endless waves, and in the mingling of elements, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, something alive becomes to stir. Life, born from fire, sustained by light. What once was hydrogen in a sun's heart is now flesh and breath and thought. And when that new life looks up into the night sky, it sees the same stars that made it. It doesn't know yet, but it is staring at its ancestors. Every element that made you was once part of something grander. The calcium in your bones once drifted through space as dust. The iron in your blood was first in the final heartbeat of a dying sun. The oxygen in your lungs was sculpted by cosmic storms billions of years ago. You are the universe, experiencing itself in human form. When you look up at the night sky, you're seeing yourself in another form. The same elements, the same laws, the same energy. The stars are not out there. They are you, stretched across space and time, waiting to remember their own name. And that name is everything. The earth, too, is a memory of dying suns. Its core still glows with the leftover heat of creation. Its magnetic field hums with iron born in ancient fire. Its oceans shimmer with the dust of comets. Every leaf, every cloud, every breath of wind is a ripple of that first explosion, still expanding, still alive. So tonight, as you drift to sleep, remember this. You are the echo of stars long gone. You are the dust of giants. You are the breath of eternity. The suns may die, but their light will always find a way back home. Through fire, through dust, through you. Because the universe never stops creating. It only keeps remembering what it already is: light, endless light.